So maybe we can start with the first activity, I guess, now. I have prepared a few activities for today, like to do together. I'm just trying to copy the link now, yes. And I would like to start with a Menti activity. I will send you the link in the chat to participate. You can open it and put it in the internet. And I will share my screen as well, so you can see everything. It's about gender-based violence. So we can start discussing about it. And like I will put this one, right? Yes. So the first question that I would like to ask you is, what do you think about when you hear gender-based violence? And you can put these, sorry. One code should appear. Let's see. Can you see it? No, right?
No, it's loading.
Okay. Wait, I will. This is the internet connection live problems. Okay. Okay, wait, I can share the screen now. Yes. Okay, so now you should see it, right? And also see the code to participate.
Yes.
Great, okay. So what do you think about when you hear gender-based violence? We should see.
We should write, right?
Yes, yes, you should. You have the place to write on the Menti. If you have some problems, you can just write on the chat or tell me.
Okay, so we should write a word in each space.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. Okay. A word or a sentence. It can be 25 characters. So also a sentence if you. And then you can just put like enter. So.
Because Carola, maybe not everyone knows this Menti, you know?
Of course, I'm thinking about it, yeah. So if you put the words inside the places, then you submit to send the words, they will pop up in the screen. So you can just write, for example, what you think, opening the link. And when you open the link, it should ask you for some code. And in my screen sharing, you have the code to put it. So 3219, etc. And then the thing should open, something like that should open. And then we will see this. Let's see if it works. I will just put one. Okay, so it works. Okay, here you are. They came all together. Great. Okay.
But how can we see the answers?
The answers are on the screen. Can you see it on the screen?
On the shared screen. Okay.
Yes, exactly. So we have demi-use, inequality, stereotypes, religious persecution, expectation, which puts maybe it's connected with
puts you in the bracket, in the brackets.
Okay,
it's
great.
reconnected.
So for
There was
example, the Menti application puts like bigger, the word bigger when the word is repeated. So for example, the rape word now is bigger. That means that more than one person put it in the answers. And then we have jealousy, mentality of women, expectation, which put you in the brackets, inequality, hate, fear, childhood education. Okay, great. Thanks. We have more, of course. Lack of respect, upbringing, hate, inequality again. So a lot of people put, like more than one person put inequality. Okay, so now I would like to ask you which words you put and like saying why you chose these words to describe and gender-based violence. So who wants to start can just unmute.
okay. So I put the religious persecution and expectation, which puts you into the brackets, and yeah, I think the problem is with the gender inequality is also based in our religion, and I think especially in the Muslim religion, it's very in the culture that the women are under the man. They have way less rights than the man does, and yeah, that's my idea.
Okay, thanks. So if you put more like in the religious area and rights and not rights area.
Okay, I can continue. I
Great.
put stereotypes and childhood education, because something in between, because I put it not into religion, well, also partly, but I focused more on the society and those social issues. I see it as those gender-based violence as some stereotypes, some mental concepts in our heads that we seem to be born with, which of course it's not true, and we take it as a granted that it is like it is, and there is this division, strict division between men and women and the roles in the society, in family, and so on, which we should once question and talk about. And that's why I wrote also childhood education, because I really do see it. I can observe it right now in the kindergarten, how different kids are treated as a boy or as a girl, and it's I'm trying to fight against it, because I have a daughter and a son, and I'm trying, really doing my best to fight against it with in the kindergarten, to say no, she doesn't have to wear I don't know, a skirt if she doesn't want to, but it's really deep inside. That's why I think that if we want to talk about it, talking is one thing about the questioning stereotypes and our mental concepts, but also to go like to start from the beginning, so with children, to talk about it with them as well.
Thank you so much. Thanks. It's really important, this part as well. Does someone else want to share something?
I can share. I wrote mentality because in my country that's the main problem. Everyone just thinks about what would others say about you. You have to, I mean, consider others' opinion when you wear something or when you go somewhere, you just have to think what would others say about me. So I think the main problem is related to mentality and the way people think here. So it's because of most of women suffers from violence here. So yeah, for me that's the main reason.
Thanks. That is also strictly connected to education, child, and like the education that we receive from society, from our environments and the places we cross and our path in the world. Thank you. Thank you, teacher.
Yeah, I guess mine is also connected with the problem with education, but I mentioned upbringing, lack of respect as well. I guess they go together because upbringing is how you are taught at home, in your environment, as you are growing up, what you see, what you learn, and that is what kind of citizen you turn into as a result. Because if you're born, it has to be equal for you. Like violence has to be perceived equally bad for everyone. But at which point does it turn into gender-based violence? It depends on the education and the stereotypes that you receive, that you see in your society.
Thank you, Gnarik. Thanks. It's also strictly connected, we are saying, or I'm seeing on the Zoom. Okay. So, great. Do you guys want to share something else?
I did child rights, but it didn't appear on your screen.
Oh, really? Okay. That's weird. We can try to charge it again. But you can just maybe tell us, Nana.
I mean, when I think about this gender-based violence, it always comes to the kids who are forced to marry at a very young age, and it just deprives all the opportunities that they have in life. Like, this just seems very unfair.
Thanks. Wait. Okay. Okay, so great.
Can I ask what demius means?
Yes, maybe who put demius can say? Guys, can you hear? I don't hear anything.
It was
Okay.
Carola. It was already on the screen when we entered.
Okay, so no one put it. I thought the first person put it. Okay, I didn't put it either. So someone in the internet put it or not. But however, maybe they use it something about Menti too, but it's a very good coincidence because the word demi is also used in the gender discussions and vocabulary, let's say, to indicate a person who was like a person's sexuality. Actually, it's like demisexuality, and it's connected to the fact of being born within a biological sex but not feeling completely like that sex. And so you were born with a sex, society gave you like assignments to fit in order of expressing the gender that you biologically have, let's say, and but you don't feel in that gender, and you have more like fluid visions of yourself, so you don't identify yourself in your biological sex. So it was like actually a good coincidence from Menti to give this word to us. And it brings us the topics of, for example, for different kinds of sexuality, and also like the discussion about biological sex and gender. This could also be another interesting question. Do you know the difference, or do you like feel any difference in saying biological sex or gender and gender identity? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, biological sex is the one, like maybe that your body, like the sex of your body, if you're a man or a woman, or how do you say, intersexual, and then or intersexual, and then there's the like how you identify. I mean, you can be born and being like biologically a man, but you can feel like a woman, or unknown, and like a non-binary gender.
Great, thanks. Super. So exactly. So as you were saying, like the genders can also be more fluid. So it's not just about entering what in the feminist discussion is called binaryism. So it's not just about being male or female, your gender, let's say, but it's also like to discovering new genders, new gender identities, like for example demi identity, and so on. So the main topic, let's say, would be starting to not being so strict with descriptions or namings, but to start to discover. And that's like listening to ourselves is what we are like taking on, let's say. So great, it's very interesting from the Menti, because all of the things, when you put gender-based violence, one of the like actual violent acts that we put is rape, and all the other things are social, cultural, environmental issues. So no one wrote femicide, for example, but we put inequality, religion, education, stereotypes. So this brings us the topic how social roles are really, really like the first step of the violence that we experience daily, and that still develops in the society day by day. So now I would like to stop sharing first and to propose to you a sort of like a role play game, a very easy one. It's about like social roles, and how, like we were saying, like how society really is occupying our minds. So I have like the sun. Sorry, I'm trying to find the spot without the sun. So okay, I will give you some roles on the chat, private messages, and they will be different kinds of roles. So for example, some girl with some issues, some guy with some issues, another person with other issues, and you will have to keep these roles secret during the game. So just don't tell it. And I will give you some situations, and you will see if your character can afford it or not, can do it or not. It would be very good if you had some paper and pencil. I forgot to tell you. If you don't have, you can maybe just sign something on your computer or telephone during the game. We can also manage like this. Or if you don't have any possibility of this, you can just keep in mind, and then we share at the end of the game. So if you have something to write, it's better. If not, it's okay. No way. So now I will give you the roles one by one. So sorry, it's the best I can do with the time. Meanwhile, if you have some questions left about these activities or something you want to share still, we can use this time.
I wanted to share something. I think it might be, I'm very curious what will happen now with those roles. I don't know the activity, but I just imagine what it is, because we come from so many different cultures. I don't know, Carola, if you notice it, but there is
Yes.
Spain, Poland, Czech, and Italy, and then we have Armenia, Azerbaijan, and Georgia, and those are really different. Different cultures and different roles that we play in a society. So let's.
It's true. Yes. And of course, we all are from different countries, I guess. This is very, very interesting. So for sure this we will help like the discussion later about this. We can also like bring experiences. Mhm. Okay. Okay, you should all have something, right? Did you all receive something? You can check on the chat. No, Anya, you didn't, right?
No.
Okay. Okay, so I will give you one now. Let's open here and here. Anya.
Did you guys? Did you get a message from Carola?
Yes, yes,
Okay, now I see.
Great. Okay. So you should have all a row, and if you have something to write on, that's great. We can start. So I will give you situations, and if you like can do it, or if you have done it, or if you had experienced it, you can just put a cross on your paper or like a point on the keyboard on the computer or phone, or you just can keep it in mind. And at the end of the game, we will use and show like all the crosses like we have and discuss about it.
So we should write number like one, question number one, and
yes, yes, of course. If you want, this is also a good way to do it. Or if you don't want to put like one or two or three of the question, you can just put crosses. But with the numbers is also good. How you feel? Okay, so let's start. First situation is you have never had economical difficulties in your experience of life. If you did never had, you put a cross. If you had, you don't. You live in an adequate, good house with all comforts. You think that your language, your religion, your culture are respected in the country you live in.
Your language, religion, and culture.
Yes. You feel your opinion on main political, social, and cultural issues is being listened by others in society. You are not scared of being stopped by police. You know where to go for asking for help or advice. You know where or to whom go to ask for help or advice. You have never felt discriminated or judged. You have a good health and social protection. You can go on holidays outside of your country at least once per year. You can invite your friends to hang out and eat at your house. Like you can invite friends to your house. You have an interesting life and you look positively to the future. You can choose your favorite studies and jobs to do. You think that the place where you study or work at is good for your needs and you as a person. You feel fulfilled. You are not scared of being harassed in public places or on social medias. You can vote in the country you live in with your own identity, with the name you choose and with the identity you choose. You have easy access to an internet connection. You can celebrate the festivities with your family and relatives, being accepted by them. You can easily participate in a project on human rights organized by your city. Public places like libraries, cinemas, etc. are open also for you without any worries. You are not scared by your son's, daughter's future. You can afford buying new clothes or furniture every 3 or 4 months. You can fall in love with the person you choose. You can marry the person you choose. You feel your skills and competencies and knowledges are respected and appreciated in your society. You are happy. Okay, this was the last one. Very like poetical last one. And now I would like to ask you to show the if you have some papers or to share like how many crosses you have and etc. And then like start sharing how you feel after this.
Two.
Mm-hmm. Okay, 2 crosses just. Okay. So maybe Anya, you can say your role, like who you were.
Mm-hmm.
I have 10 crosses.
10?
10 crosses. Okay.
Okay. Should I share, Carola?
Yes, thanks. You can all share like the roles now.
Okay, I have 2 crosses. I'm a 30 years old homeless person. I'm a gay with AIDS positive. And I guess that's why I put a cross. I guess I still can vote in my country. I'm not sure if I don't have if I'm not registered anywhere, and if I'm homeless, if I have right, but I guess I have, and I can still fall in love.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. So on, they were like I guess 25 to 25 to, from 25 to 30 situations, and you just had to. So it was like at the bottom of the social pyramid, let's say. Okay, thanks. And it crossed like the health situation, the sexual gender situation, the economical situation. So there was like intersectionality of issues. Okay. Great. Someone can share their role and how many crosses you have.
9.
Okay. Can you tell us your role?
I was a lesbian girl who lives with very religious parents.
Okay. Great. And do you remember some situations of the crosses that you put?
Yeah, I mean, I can still be happy despite all the hardships, and I can still vote.
Great. Okay. So it's more like you could afford like to have more like individual paths. Like voting is individual, of course, and choosing to and trying to be happy is also individual with the people you choose. But on the other situations where families, society was involved, you are not free to choose what you really want to do, I guess, because the other question. Okay, great. So this was about more freedom and choosing your freely your choices. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks. Thank you, Nana. Okay.
Carola,
Yes.
I have 10, 11, not sure. I was an unemployed single mother. So I think, of course, I have the chance to fall in love with the person I want to vote. This depends also in the person who is the problem. You can be happy. Maybe others can't be happy with this situation, but I think there's persons in this situation can be happy, and depends on the country or the culture. I can have health services, and of course, like Anya says, in the childhood education or that kind of things, or my family can accept me or cannot because I don't have a husband. So, but of course, it's going to be difficult for me to join to some laboral markets or to get a job. And of course, it's going to be rough for me to buy clothes or to have a leisure time like other person because I don't have a job and I have a kid to sustain. So, but I can't remember all the question exactly, but I think it's quite.
So yes, so this character is really interesting. It's actually one of the. There are more than the ones that we use. Like there are 15, 20 characters more or less, and this is one of my favorite ones because it just says unemployed single mother, and this person, I guess she's a woman because of the mother thing. But we don't know anything about her, just that she's unemployed, and then she is like described as mother. So we don't know if she is her sexuality, for example. I think we all thought that she was heterosexual. We thought it was like implied in the sentence, but we don't know anything about her.
Yeah.
So. So this is like very interesting because we all thought she was like heterosexual and everything, but maybe she's not, no. And this doesn't just happen in the role play game, but it also happens a lot of times in real life in an unconscious way. We give like for granted the other person positioning into the world. So yeah, this is like, yes, a very good character to start to deconstruct how our brain works. So the deconstructing process is like an everyday process, and super, super great. Okay, thank you, Arturo. I see Kinetic on my screen.
Yeah. Okay. I mentioned probably like 12 X's, but also several question marks. Because I don't know the situation. I think there are many question marks. In fact, my hero was Nigerian clandestine immigrant. By the way, I had to search on the internet what clandestine means. Thank you.
Okay.
That turns out is like illegal secret. Yeah. And I also wanted to ask in which country, like, should I suppose he is or she is? Like, am I talking about?
Yeah.
I was asking in which country this person is, or should I just imagine it, or am I talking about mine?
Yes, exactly. What do you think? Where do you think this person is going?
I thought, I don't know why I created the image of a man who has left for the US from Nigeria. And although being an illegal immigrant, he could be successful. He could have some money and like financially he could have a proper situation, but he couldn't have many rights, like maybe getting, okay, probably getting married is also possible, but not voting, not being so secure, and not being sure about his or her ethnicity and values and culture and things like that. So, in fact, not all of his rights are supported.
Thank you, Gnarik. And again, this is very interesting because you said that you imagine him like a him, so like a man who's traveling, but we actually didn't know it, right? So, for example, this person could be like we can say like a middle-aged man traveling to US, as you imagined. But for example, I would imagine this person like when I play it, I usually like imagine this person like a Nigerian lady, a woman, being involved in like a prostitution treat again among countries, coming from the south, the Nigeria to Europe, like through coming to and then entering the southern Europe. So like it brings me back like the topic of like commercial inside the with bodies. So again, this is very interesting because when you have your own scenario, then you have all the developing of your story, right? And thinking about different scenarios also like helps to try to cover multiple topics. And I guess now that we have your story, my bit of story, every one of us is thinking about something about this person. And we are already deconstructing our mind. We are doing this process of thinking of possibilities. So thank you, Gnarik, for sharing.
So maybe I can continue. My role was partner of a transsexual man. I just imagine the situation in my country. So yeah, I can fall in love. I can work where I want. I can get studies, and I can afford all the financial things. But I can't be accepted by my family in my country. And I can get married. I don't know if it's possible in another countries, but not in my country. And the most important, I always will suffer from discrimination on social media or in my work and every field of life.
Thank you. Thank you, Chichak. You were a partner of transsexual men, right? Because
Yes.
I couldn't wait, I can check. Okay, great, great, super. Okay, thank you. Yes, it's okay.
Okay, so I was a 40 years old transsexual woman and a drug addict plus, and I put around 12 crosses. I think a lot of question marks too, but I think you can still vote for sure. You can get the medical help. You can fall in love. You can get married. Um, yeah, you have to count it to maybe on the Facebook and with your family. It will be worse the relations and but I think otherwise like in the shops no or in the library it makes no difference for you. It's as you and that you are drug addict it can imply a lot of things that maybe you don't have any of the things that are mentioned in this list because you can be seriously ill and just lying somewhere on the street.
Thank you, Andra. And I just wanted to ask you a question about, you said you put the cross on voting, right? On the vote.
Yeah,
Or,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So how do you think this person is going to vote? With the biological identity or with the new name accepted?
That you accept it as a second like you changed. Yeah, at least in my country it's like this. I imagine I think you can change the gender and also like biological gender and mm, it's not a problem.
Mm-hmm. Great, thanks. Very good. This is interesting. I will share with you, before giving Sandra the word, I will share with you experience from my country, for example, because thank you for sharing by Czech Republic. In Italy, when you want to go through transaction, like changing biological sex process in order to feel your identity on your body as well. When you change it, you have to go through psychological treatments that really tell you that you have serious psychological problems in being with a biological sex you don't feel in and you don't fit in it. So if you don't have this psychological like really like bad feedback, you cannot change your biological sex as well. So a lot of people cannot go through the process, and therefore they cannot do all the things as they choose to do them. So for example, a lot of people cannot vote because going to vote is going with the ID card, identity card of an identity they are not. So this is also like a very crucial point in everyday life, because like voting, maybe it happens once per year, twice per year in order to different political charges. And but it's like every day going to the post office, going to the market and using your credit card, let's say, is it's a very, very crucial topic. So thanks for sharing your role, thanks for sharing your experience, and I hope we can still brainstorm about it. So Sandra, maybe you can share something now.
Yeah, I had a Muslim female university student. I got like 8 or 9 crosses, but also a lot of interrogations, because question marks, because Some of them depended on the economical situation, and I don't know, maybe she can afford or not some things. But I am like, I have really problems with discriminations everywhere. I mean, maybe I have the possibility of finding a work or to go or to do what I want to do with my life, but maybe it will be like more difficult than, for example, a European or an American person. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandra. Great. And yes, I really like your character too, because it's like she's like multiple things, religion topic and studying at the university. So it brings like culture and also economics, because perhaps for the university you have to pay in the country she lives in. So again, like it takes together a lot of topics. Okay, so why do you think like social roles are connected with gender-based violence? What do you think is the link among them?
Maybe because social roles have like, or people expect you behavior in some way, because these social roles and these thinkings about you have to behave in this way, you have to be like that, you have to do the other thing. And when people break or not break, people don't behave in that way, others get frustrated or get like mad because this is not supposed to be.
Thank you, Arturo. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you guys think about some else connection or link among it?
So, sorry, what was the question again? I didn't hear it.
Oh, of course. The question was, why do you think social roles are connected to gender-based violence? What is the link? If you see the link.
I guess it's there is actually in some cases slight difference between those. I mean, social roles are constructed in the society, and they are very much linked to the gender roles. So we have what kind of roles in the society? Mother, of course, woman. I don't know. Bread runner. Usually it's a man. Okay, and so on and so forth. So it's there is, I don't know, I was trying to think about the role in the society that it's not actually related to gender, and it was difficult. Usually when we think about, I was thinking about roles that I play, and it's all because I'm a woman, or yeah, like maybe you have an idea about the role in the society that it's for both. If we, well, we can call it parent, for example, but still it's.
Yeah, the linguistic like is like really important into this discussion, but I have thought about it as well, like to try to find some social roles that are not connected with gender roles, and I couldn't find them still. Like as you said, it's all about like this huge separation and division has been built on our identities, but we also like help building sometimes with unconscious behaviors. And as Arturo was saying, like, yes, like there are behaviors that you are allowed to do or not allowed to do, and you fulfill with these like inside roles in a conscious or unconscious way. And they are just the start, just the first step of the violence, the link that I see and that I consider to exist between social gendered roles and gender-based violence is that violence is not just like the direct and actual fact of hitting, raping, killing, murdering, but it's also like all the behaviors that don't let you be the person you choose to be, don't let you do the things that you want to do, or just like makes you sad or makes you think during everyday life. Going onto the bus or going into some offices and being left past before because of being a woman. So it's like a gentle act. Or for example, being in the shop and maybe seeing more women like with the payment or like presenting stuff, or in the television, or and also the thing of like representation. Usually in the representations, in the publicities, in the big messages through internet, we see men and women. We don't see other identities, other people like experiencing their own path. So so this is very interesting. And about this, I would like to share with you like an image. Like I will share the screen again. I just need to open it. Let's see here, big one. That's called this thing that we are speaking about. We can actually give a name to it, and it's a pyramid of violence. So how violence develops into our daily life. Let's see if I can share the screen now. Share pyramid. Share. Okay. So can you see it on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Uh-oh. Now it disappeared. Let's see. It should be charging again. Yes, it's charging. Okay. So now it will appear actually, I hope. Sorry, the connection is not very good, but I think it should work. So during this pyramid is divided in, you can divide it in 3, 4, 5, and actually more and more parts. And the first ones are the ones that we are speaking about, that we have played with during this like role play game that we just did. So what do you think is the first step in the bottom of the pyramid? What do you think you can put in the bottom of the pyramid? I don't see you because I'm sharing the screen now. But okay. So we couldn't answer before the pyramid appeared. But we see the first one is sexist, homophobic, transphobic jokes, problematic language, and objectification. So as we were speaking, as Anya said, for example, the problematic language, the jokes, what we say, our daily words. And then we have the other step of the pyramid, like traditional roles, the ones that we played with, glass ceiling that is more connected to the power positioning in work and studies, rigid gender-based stereotypes, as we put in the Menti at the start, stereotypes that came from our daily experience. And then we have harassment, threats, and verbal abuse. That's like violence is increasing and is coming out of the iceberg, let's say, out of the sea, and you can start seeing it. And then we have rape, sexual assault, physical, emotional, and financial abuse. So like an actual abuse. And then we have murder that actually can be corrected with femicide. If we want to speak about current language, we can put femicide in this gender-based violence pyramid. And then, well, there are other people saying it was just a joke. Why do you care? And the girl or the other person answers: sexual violence exists in a pyramid. Your joke contributes to a culture of violence. So every step of this pyramid contributes. And I would like to ask you, like, when do you think the violence starts in this pyramid? I gave my opinion. You can share. When do you think the violence starts?
So it's a pyramid that maybe it starts at the bottom, but like the violence starts in the middle when the harassment and threats, verbal abuse, it's what violence is.
Okay, so Andra, for example, if you didn't have the pyramid and you were like in everyday life and you hear some jokes, sexist jokes perhaps, that can also be like very, very like soft ones, like who cooks today? Okay, maybe Isaura can cook today. So maybe little jokes, if you hear them, and then you see like a verbal abuse in the street, and then you read the news about a femicide, a murder in your city, in your neighborhood. When do you think, what situation you think is violent? All of them, or a few, or one?
I think like the harassment and the threats on the public or at the Facebook, it's pure violence, like but maybe the jokes are like also psychological or violence. It makes the other person feel bad, and yeah, you just make fun of it, but the other person feels bad. So I wouldn't call it like violence, but yeah, it's hard to put the line where the violence starts.
It's hard because, as you said, it's like also like subjective experience, I guess. Thank you on that. Guys, someone else can share. Like, when do you think violence starts?
I think the jokes are the worst because you can just cover jokes saying it was just a joke. You can't cover harassment or rape. We know that it's terrible, but people just say that it was a joke, and other people start thinking that, yeah, it was a joke. It will not hurt you or something else. So I think it's the worst.
Thank you, Chichak. So you feel the violence starts at the bottom. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
I feel like it starts on the stereotyping roles on the second of the lowest bottom. Because it is like you're cutting off the women all the opportunities that they might have, and it just encourages more physical violence. Like it's not physical violence, but in case it occurs, the woman has absolutely nowhere to go, nowhere to shelter herself. So I think it starts on the bottom.
Thank you. On the bottom, but like on the second step, right? Not
yes.
Okay. Thanks.
I feel like maybe the traditional roast should be at the bottom and the jokes should be
Mhm.
Just a
Okay.
second.
Okay, great. And Andra, you you preceded me on the next activity because now I would like to share with you another link for an activity about the pyramid of violence too. That's called AWAP. That's this link actually. So we can create our own pyramid of violence. Let's see if, okay, everyone. I will send the link to the chat to open this pad. And you can open it and it will be the same screen. So you will find this pyramid on your screen as well. And I will keep the screen sharing so we can all see what you will put. I see Nana and Chichak that joined, Ondra that joined. If you go to the left side of your screen, there is like a part where you can choose if you will write or you will draw. There is like AA, and if you click it, you can write, and then it should appear that you are typing.
That's so funny.
Can we then edit when what someone did? Like, you know, can we just
Yes,
delete?
you can also edit. Like if Arturo writes something and then you want to cancel it, you can do. It's like completely anarchist activity. You can also like we can also discuss about them. Like Andra, for example, you proposed to put the traditional roles on the bottom and then the jokes on the top. So maybe you can write it on the bottom, like traditional roles, and continue like that. If you have some question about the AWAP, you can tell me. Anya, okay, I see. Marigina, I see. Andra, teacher. Okay, great. You could. Okay, so traditional
What's
roles.
going on? Damn.
Yes.
You understand what to do.
What? Sorry, you don't understand?
Yeah, partially. Like, it seems like there are so many people there. I'm trying to understand what to do. Okay.
Okay, you can just like propose, like tell if you have an idea of what to put on the bottom of the pyramid. So I would also add, for example, at the here, I would also say, okay, expectation, right? I would also say like representation, social on medias. Okay. Expectations based on the role, society, gender. Traditional roles, society brackets, representation on medias. And this is the first one. Then I would put on the top of the pyramid, let me see, for example. And then this is very interesting how the pyramid we are building, how we are building the pyramid, because we have the bottom, so we know what's in the deep side. We know in the deep part what is that, and then we have like, ooh, the worst thing, like the worst. Well, what is it in the middle? Like, what is the process that we cross to go to femicide? Because we potentially all do it. So. Control and manipulation, great. So something in the middle is start appearing. Language, jokes. hate speech. Thank you, great. Cyberbullying. Physical threats. Egoism. Harmless physical violence. Expectations we have on the second step. I don't know if you hear something, it's my flatmate that is having the training. So, okay. So, we also have a lot in the middle. Like we have traditional role society brackets, representation on media's expectations based on social, on role society gender. Then we have something else, language, jokes, expectation, social exclusion. And then we have a lot in the middle of the pyramid, cyberbullying, psychological repression, control and manipulation, hate speech. And this something, it seems like something in the limbo, let's say, because it's not the worst, it's not death, it's not like real physical bad violence. But it's not like also the hidden violence. So it's something that you can see, and usually it's something that we experience in a direct level. So in this case, usually, or we are the victims of it. So we receive cyberbullying, we have bullied, we have been repressed psychologically, or we see it from outside. And usually we see it from outside and we don't really know what to do in this situation. So, so it's something there, like feeling in the middle of some weird balance that we don't know how is working. Okay, great. So we have a lot. No one is writing more. So maybe someone can read all the pyramid now, if you want. If you see it.
Should we start from the bottom?
Yes, as you want,
Okay.
of course.
So traditional roles, society brackets, representation on media, expectations based on the role, society, gender. Then comes language, jokes, social exclusion, expectation, egoism. After that, cyberbullying, psychological repression, control and manipulation, hate speech. Then physical threats, fear, self-deception. After that, the next level, harmless physical violence, which I will explain, I guess, later. And on the last, on the top, we have femicide, sexual harassment, and rape.
Great, thank you. Great. Okay. So in all of this, I would like to ask you, when do you think that violence can be called violence? What is the like the real thing that doesn't let you that lets you speak about violence like directly? Okay, so femicide was violence, sexual harassment is violence, rape is violence, physical threats are violence, but jokes, maybe they are not violence, or traditional roles, maybe they are not violent. So what do you think is like a good point of starting to think about it?
I think we have the idea, just like some mental connection with the word violence and physical representation of it. So when I said violence, I kind of associated it with physical one. But of course, it starts for me somewhere, even from the bottom of this pyramid, because you feel it on yourself, you feel the results, and you are affected by it. Maybe in the form of manipulation, maybe when you're being controlled, it is also violence, but of course more of a mental one, psychological one, rather than physical. So it's all along the way.
Yes. Thank you, Gnadik. Thank you so much.
For me, I think violence is subjective, of course, and it depends on the point of view of the woman. From the point she feels she is being underestimated, and of course, when she feels fear and there's something wrong going against her, I think it's when the violence begins. Could be at the bottom or could be in the middle. It depends.
Great. Okay, so when one person is feeling violence on her, on him, or on it, and this is the way violence starts, right?
I guess for
you.
me, it's, yeah, of course, it's very subjective, and it depends on the situation as well. But generally, in some situation, when I feel that someone places himself or herself above me, to show me some kind of control or show me the power over me, and I, in some situation, well, depends, of course, but if I feel that this is not something that I accept in this moment, this is the moment of where the violence starts. So when we are not equal and someone is above, but I'm saying that it depends, because I guess it's also coming back to the topic of the social roles. It depends who does it. Like, I don't know, and we are grown to be, at least in my family, we are grown to respect our parents, for example. I don't think it's that much and in other countries, but still, I do expect, maybe not now anymore, but I did expect my parents to like to be above me, and it was okay always for me, and I still expect it. So this is very it depends on the situation, but generally, it's someone places himself or herself above, and to show me that the power, and I don't agree with that.
Of course. Thank you, Anya. Thank you so much. Because maybe we can give a name to this, and it could be consent. So when do we start giving consent, and when does consent start? Does consent really start in this pyramid? Is there consent on this pyramid or not?
I think there is, and I see it in my society as well. When you do not oppose, for example, the language and jokes, yeah, the roles as well. If you do not go against it, you kind of give consent to continuation. And okay, I want to bring one example that happened yesterday. And yeah, if you don't mind, of course, I think it will show it better. So I'm in a group of, I participated in lessons of getting physically fit and stuff like that, learning a lot of stuff connected with it, and mainly there are men, like, and in our language it is a normal thing, considered to be a normal thing, if you just call a group of people guys. Like, it is more like men, not guys in terms of people, but men. And so there were like 5 men and 2 free women. And when they called all of us men, I was like, why do you say so? It's not only men in here. And they said, oh, it's okay. If I called you all women, the rest would be offended. I said, why is it so that if you call everyone women, we should, like, the rest will be offended, but if you call men, I should not be offended by that. And there's like, oh, because you're doing work the same as men does. Like, when I tried to oppose him to explain that, okay, we are men and women here. If you do not want to offend anyone, if you do not want to like specify the gender, let us say, just call us people. Do not kind of specify in any other way. And the bad thing is that girls who were there, they kind of gave him consent. When he said, I want to call all of you men in order not to offend anyone, they said, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Just call us men. It's not a problem. And when I tried to oppose, to explain something, he was like, you know, he didn't want to accept another idea rather than his. I hope it gave some idea what I meant. So,
Thank you, Gary, for sharing. Yes, I guess this happens a lot of times to like a lot of us, and I think it can enter into the language situation that we put on the pyramid as well. And so yeah, so in some sort of way, consent can start because we like when we happen to be called like men in a group of mixed people, or there are some inside, for example, messages and representation on media, etc. We sometimes like give consent because it's like very hard to go on like an every like representation, every commercial that we see, like go and say, okay, no, this doesn't okay. So we do it actually, but sometimes it cannot reach the big company or what it is, no? And this happens in a lot of fields in life. So in some sort of way there is I would say also an unconscious. I'm using this word a lot, but I think it's very good because it gives the images of the iceberg, and all of that's hidden in the sea is what actually is really problematic, and everything starts there. So we give like a sort of an unconscious and a drowned consent that's floating in the deepest part of the sea, and so we don't really agree with that. But at the same start, there are situations in which we can give or not give directly consent, and the consent has to be respected in that part, in that situation. And so it's like yes or no, and this brings a lot of other topics. And usually the higher part of the highest part of the pyramid is about like breaking the obvious, the already told consent. So not given consent and you're breaking it. So I guess that at some point in the pyramid it can start. So for example, I think it starts already in the second third, yes, step of the pyramid from the bottom. So already like about, for example, expectations and social exclusion going upper to cyberbullying, psychological repression, control, hate speech. I think people can like oppose to this, and they are not respected while opposing to this. So consent like is a very, very huge topic, and at the same time like very, very needed to talk about. And I would like to ask you, when do you think like consent, when does consent start for you in this pyramid, but also like in everyday experiences? And what do you think is consent for you in this situation? It's a very difficult question, I know, but maybe we can brainstorm something together.
So I maybe think that consent is where it's connected to the freedom and to draw a line between freedom of one person and the freedom of the other person.
Yeah.
To somehow make that they are both free or have freedom, I think.
Thank you, Andra.
I think consent is about setting personal boundaries.
Thank you, Nana. I can see Chichak and Sandra on my screen. If you have something to say.
No, I'm sorry. Could you repeat like the question because my internet was bad?
Of course. The question was, what do you think is consent for you? And like Nana said, it's setting personal boundaries, like individual boundaries. And Andrea said that is connected with freedom. So it's like choosing. I think it's also connected to Nana's answer. So the question is about consent.
Yeah, but I think that also like as we said before, maybe the most problematic thing is that sometimes we give like consent without knowing it, like many things in society.
I think she blocked, right?
Yes.
Some like ways of living and this, and I think they are already accepted, but
Let's see if Sandra is here. Sandra, can you hear me?
I will maybe type something.
yeah, sorry. I can, like, the connection is going and leaving all the time.
Yes, of course. But would you mind to repeat again something
I was
that
saying
not... Thank you.
that consent, like in like girls usually girls, because it's like gender violence, give consent to many attitudes without knowing that like they are like against women, but maybe it's like so normalized in society that you are already giving consent to something that helps to things of the higher part of the period.
Blocked again, but I think we got it now.
Yeah.
Okay, Sosnowiec is very used today.
No, but I'm using my data.
But what, you don't have, it's not good enough, the internet in the site?
I think sometimes the small machines are just not doing the Wi-Fi nice. It depends on the time of the day.
Okay.
And but I sometimes use my data. It's fine.
Okay.
Thank you, Sandra. We heard not all of it. The ending was so, but we got it. We understood what you wanted to tell us. So thank you, Sandra. Okay. I also see Mari, Artura. It's anyway, it's a very huge topic. I would like I'm very glad and thankful that you shared, guys, Andra, Sandra, Nana, etc. But at the same time, I completely understand that it's very, very difficult and huge questioning. So I really hope this this gave you something to think about, not to share just now, but to bring in everyday life. And about consent, as another point of view, let's say, I would like to see together a little video, a very short video, that explains consent as tea, as drinking tea. So I will keep sharing the screen. I would just ask you to mute yourself. So I will just leave my computer so you can hear from me. And let's watch it. The tea as consent. We also wait for my connection. It should be here already. Yep. So if you see, just put a thumb up when it starts. Thumbs up? Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Let's go.
If you're still struggling with consent, just imagine instead of initiating sex, you're making them a cup of tea. You say, hey, would you like...
Sorry, I would just like to make a bit introduction, because this is very related to sexual relationships, but I think it can be roamed to more topics, as we are talking about consent in a general way, not just about a specific situation, but this speaks about this. So just imagine with your mind that it's a general one.
Like a cup of tea? And they go, oh my God, I would love a cup of tea, thank you. Then you know they want a cup of tea. If you say, hey, would you like a cup of tea? And they're like, you know, I'm not really sure. Then you can make them a cup of tea, or not, but be aware that they might not drink it. And if they don't drink it, then, and this is the important bit, don't make them drink it. Just because you made it doesn't mean you're entitled to watch them drink it. And if they say, no thank you, then don't make them tea at all. Just don't make them tea. Don't make them drink tea. Don't get annoyed at them for not wanting tea. They just don't want tea, okay? They might say, yes, please, that's kind of you. And then when the tea arrives, they actually don't want the tea at all. Sure, that's kind of annoying as you've gone to all the effort of making the tea, but they remain under no obligation to drink the tea. They did want tea, now they don't. Some people change their mind in the time it takes to boil the kettle, brew the tea, and add the milk. And it's okay for people to change their mind, and you are still not entitled to watch them drink it. And if they're unconscious, don't make them tea. Unconscious people don't want tea, and they can't answer the question, do you want tea? Because they're unconscious. Okay, maybe they were conscious when you asked them if they wanted tea, and they said yes, but in the time it took you to boil the kettle or brew the tea and add the milk, they are now unconscious. You should just put the tea down, make sure the unconscious person is safe, and this is the important part again, don't make them drink the tea. They said yes then, sure, but unconscious people don't want tea. If someone said yes to tea, started drinking it, and then passed out before they'd finished it, don't keep on pouring it down their throat. Take the tea away. Make sure they are safe, because unconscious people don't want tea. Trust me on this. If someone said yes to tea around your house last Saturday, that doesn't mean they want you to make them tea all the time. They don't want you to come around to their place unexpectedly and make them tea and force them to drink it, going, but you wanted tea last week. Or to wake up to find you pouring tea down their throat, going, but you wanted tea last night. If you can understand how completely ludicrous it is to force people to have tea when they don't want tea, and you are able to understand when people don't want tea, then how hard is it to understand when it comes to sex? Whether it's tea or sex, consent is everything. And on that note, I'm going to make myself a cup of tea.
Thank you. I guess I'm not gonna be able to drink tea without this association anymore. Thank you.
But that's good. So we will think about it a lot now.
It was a good one, really.
Yes, I really like this video. It's good to think. So, okay, so this was the last idea that I had in mind to do together today. So we can just like talk. You can like share how you feel if you want, or like tell me if you will take something with you or not. You can try to find a word to describe our encounter today. Um,
Useful.
Thanks.
I like the part that shows that if you do something once, it doesn't mean that you have to do it every time. So yeah, it's so right.
Thanks, Chichak. And do you find a word like for today? Do you have in mind?
I always say same word. It's informative again because every time I learn something new. So yeah.
Great, thanks. I would say a word too, and I would say like I would say two actually. Sharing and challenging. Challenging because it's always like I think it's a bit difficult because we have different knowledges, so some things can be given for granted or something not, and maybe they are. And sharing because we shared a lot of things like experiences, but also knowledge and also time. So thanks.
Thank you. And I guess I will say not a word, but a phrase. It's giving food for thought. If you can say so. Yeah, it was really a good place for discussions and also for thinking and reflecting later on.
Thank you, Gnatic.
For me, it's also difficult to find one word. But thank you for sure. Thank you very much, Carola. I feel a bit like it's not finished, that something was not said, that it's such a big topic and there is so much to talk about that that we didn't finish somehow, that we stop it, we break it, maybe in the middle, maybe at the beginning, but many things were not said yet. I feel a bit not, I don't know, fulfilled. But of course, it's not a critique, not at all. It's just also to underline how big the issue is and how many things we could talk about.
Of course. Thank you, Anya. I feel it. I feel it too. Like it's huge. Thanks.
As Anya said, it's a great. It's not everything said, but it's a great way to start. So for me, it has been also useful and interesting to see the other's point of view about the topic. So thank you, Carola, for sharing.
Thank you.
Yes, it was very nice. Thanks.
Thank you, Andrea.
Maybe for me, it's also, I know all these things, but it's nice to remember them and refresh them.
I also like very much. For me, it's also important to remind or repeat those things because yeah, we simply forget about in our daily life about some issues. But like or I enjoy generally very much this role games. I think that's a very nice start for any activity to reflect and I had this role of which is kind of, I found it extreme. Firstly, this homeless person with AIDS and the gay man. But then I thought, wow, I find it as extreme, but it's really people do struggle and do have those roles. So I think this role game is always very very cool to have the feeling.
Thank you. Thanks. Sandra wrote that she couldn't hear anything, so she left. But yeah, she was saying bye. Okay, so yes, I would like to thank you too. Actually, I usually do some of these activities in different moments as well with students from high school. So also with different experiences and everything. So it was like one of my first times, I guess, with people of my age, people older, not old but older than me, and so yes, I feel that a lot of things maybe we knew, all of us, and so we like reminded just together, and some other things maybe were not complete, like being critic of this, but also being aware of the fact that, as we said, it's a very huge topic, and it's so difficult to talk about it just in one day or 1 hour, or also I think 1 week or 1 month can still be not enough time. So thank you so much for being here and to try this together out. And nothing. I think it's all.